up? It's a Wee Natter. I'm Mark Steele, and across the table from me is...
It's still Jenny Steele. I'm still here.
We were going to change names at one point, weren't we?
I'll be Mark Steele this week.
And I'll be Jenny Steele.
Yeah.
Well, I'm game for that. It works for me. And is it just me, or has the weather kicked down a notch recently in terms of temperature?
Yeah.
It usually happens slightly earlier in the year, doesn't it? And I know because, and this is going to sound weird, dear listener, my hands.
Oh, yeah.
That's how I know about the weather.
I thought you punched somebody out.
Yeah, at the moment, if you look at them, I'm not going to share a photo because it'll just scare children. They're bloody, tattered. It's the joys of dry skin. It's just what happens. And it usually happens in time for Halloween. And I can use it to scare the trick-or-treaters when they come to the door. They just see these bloody hands turning up that look horrible and scary. Unfortunately for me, it's kicked in a week too late.
Yeah.
So there we go. Maybe next year it'll all happen in time. But this year I had to actually come up with a proper costume because of it. So on that note, let's have a Wee Natter. So it turns out we need your help, dear listener, in finding the best mince pie for 2022. It's a mission we've chosen to accept the burden on.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's got to go out there and try the variety of mince pies that are out across retailers across the country. But we do need your assistance to ensure no exquisite specimens are missed. So if there's any you think we need to put up against the competition and rank against all the other mince pies we're trying out over the weeks up to Christmas, let us know at Solid Radio UK or at Solid Sooty on all the various social media spectrum. So, this week's entrant, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
I'm ready as well.
ready.
It is Tesco Finest, rich and decadent, that's the important bit, rich and decadent,
Yeah.
spiced rum minced pies with a velvety all butter pastry. Sounds quite fancy,
It does
doesn't it?
sound fancy, yeah.
And so what were we judging it on again? What was
So I think it was taste, appearance, and texture.
Okay, so describe how they look.
I quite like this one. It's got a lattice top.
All right.
So it's my first one this year with a lattice top. So I've got high hopes. We'll just have a recap because last week was Asda's, wasn't it? Asda's Finest.
Which was the winner as far as you're
Which was
concerned
the
for
winner
2021.
Yeah, but I wasn't so...
You were disappointed this year.
I was quite disappointed this year. So we're going to try Tesco's, as I say. I like the look at them so far. Now, they've got a dusting of the icing sugar on the top. Not too much of it, which is a bit of a shame because I quite like a bit of dusting because it makes it look extra special Christmassy. But I'm just going to give it a go. I'm just going to give it a bite. Are you ready for it?
Oh, go on.
Nice and golden.
Golden? What are you thinking to it?
You see, again, I'm not getting those, rum. You say it's got rum in, spiced rum.
It does taste like you could light it on fire. I'll give you that. It does taste like there's something in
Maybe
there.
I've just got pastry and no filling. I'm not getting much flavour.
It's subdued. I would say it's subdued.
It's not, wow, that's a mince pie sort of thing.
But you can tell there's a little bit of an alcoholic kick to it. You know, that sort of... It's not quite the burning sensation on the back of the throat you get with spirits, but it does feel like you could light it on fire. Not that I'm recommending you do that, dear listener. I will stress.
I might have to have another little bit of that
You're gonna
filling. Let
have
me just
another-
check this filling a minute.
You're going to have
just
another
try
bite.
this.
You see what I'm on about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely something alcoholic
It's still
there.
not... I can't think which one I prefer out of this one or Asda. To me, none of them have got that kick. Like, I definitely recommend buying this one.
So we can't have two in our selection and now draw. So one of them has got to come ahead. And you're saying you can't tell the difference.
I'm struggling with this.
I am going to lean towards this one.
Okay.
Given the two of them, I'm going to lean towards this. So our current ranking at the moment, dear listener, with 2 mince pies down so far. In at number 2 is Tesco Finest Rich and Decadent Spiced Rum Mince Pies. And in at number 1 is Asda's Extra Special, that's important, but Extra Special Luxury Slow Gin Mince Pies. So that's how the rankings stand at the moment. What's going to happen next week? I don't know. And remember, if there is a mince pie you think should be considered for the champion title, do get in touch at Solid Radio UK or at Solid Sooty on the socials.
As you know, I don't, and well, obviously Mark knows, but I don't know if you know, listeners, but I'm one for my soaps. And I'm normally like to watch the classics like Emmerdale and Coronation Street. I just like to look back and think, oh, I remember when there's quite a lot of joviality. Is that a word?
I would say it's a word,
yeah. But I found myself watching one of the latest episodes of Emmerdale. It's not Emmerdale Farm anymore, Mark, it's Emmerdale. So I saw this big announcement, Emmerdale's 50 years old, and they got this massive, nothing will ever be the same again kind of clip. So I thought, I've got to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I watched it, and I'm sitting there, and I'm actually laughing, and I'm thinking, how believable do the producers really think this is? Because it was just so out there. It was laughable.
Before you dig much deeper into this, I will say soaps are always expected to be a bit outrageous and a bit crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I remember bits and pieces that came out in this news about Brookside, you know, and that was always admittedly quite outrageous at the time. Yeah. The same with EastEnders. So I would expect the more regular soaps, the ones that have been going on even longer, especially when you get into things like Coronation Street and Emmerdale and things like that, they'll have done all the outrageous stuff 30 years ago, and they'll now be sitting there going, it's 20 years later, we got to push it further.
They did push it further.
It's got to be more out there. It's got to be more...
It wasn't just concentrating on one disaster, one stunt. It was just like multiples.
All right.
So if you haven't seen it, I'll just kind of set the scene for you. So a character goes out to find another character who's gone into labour. They've got a gale force wind that's come up out of nowhere, and I really mean it's a wind to end all winds. It's blowing everything. Like trees are being pushed over, rooftops are being blown away, and it's really bad.
Well, you say that. There was the Michael Fishweather incident.
Well, there was. There was no storm coming.
Based on reality.
Yeah.
I can see the connection there. I see where they're going. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, this person goes out to find this character who's pregnant that decides today's the day that she's going to go and have a picnic, meet her boyfriend and have a picnic in the middle of this storm, whatever they've called it. So she's out there, you know, and then obviously she goes into labour. It had to happen, didn't it? Goes into labour, tries to find some barn to settle down in, but you walk towards the barn and then these raked slates are starting to rattle, and you know they're going to come flying off. And eventually the slates come flying off, near missing her. So she goes further and further into wherever she's gone to, and then so somebody else decides they're going to go out and find her and bite. So they go out through the forest on a quad bike. What's going to happen? A tree gets blown down right in front of them. She crashes into it with the quad bike, comes rolling off, rolls down a bank. She's unconscious. So you think, she's going to be all right.
Just to check, did the tree explode when the quad bike hit it?
The tree was up.
So they didn't get the pyros out. That's no fun.
So then the next thing is somebody else goes out on a horse, riding through the woods to find this other person. And then she comes across her and thinks, gets off the horse. The horse does where it frightens her, lifts its legs in the air and decides it's going. So the horse goes away. She then is left in the woods on her own with this person that's been unconscious. She tries to basically get this person to wake up. Somehow they both roll down and smashes the head on a rock. So now they're both unconscious and they're both lying there. So you think, they're both dead. But they're not. Then the one that come in on the horse, she wakes up. She manages to come round. Of course, no phone signal or anything, is it? Phone smashed. The other one's dead. So there's nothing she can do. So she basically walks back through the woods to where she lives. And then somebody else goes out in the woods, like looking for her. Then a barn door opens and a load of cows come stampeding out. So they're getting chased by a load of cows. Somebody falls. Obviously, they've got to fall, haven't they? They get trampled on. Then the other person decides they're going to leg it over a fence to get rid of the cows and land on like a combine harvester. And when the camera shows them, they've got a massive fork completely through the back. And you think they're gone. They're gone. But they're not. They're not gone. They pull through that. They come round in hospital. So you're like looking at all this stuff. And then you think, how believable? Do they really think this is? And then the last thing, we're in the village, and then two people are walking up, and this caravan gets blown by the wind sideways and crushes another character, and she's dead. So you just like, it's like watching an episode. It's like watching The Omen.
Just to check, this all happened in a single 30-minute episode or something like that?
I don't know if it was 30 or was it like one of these 60-minute specials.
What?
Bang, 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 bang.
The level of death here makes Midsummer look fairly chilled out.
You've got to watch it. It was so unbelievable. It was funny. And I know you're not supposed to be laughing at people that you've just been seen crushed and whatever, but it was ridiculous. It was so, come on, you like that. Come on, now what, And then somebody's trying to go in a church and all the slates are rattling off and they're getting thrown at them. And you think, did he used to write episodes for The Omen or something, this producer?
Now, the interesting bit is, the connection in my head isn't anything to do with soap. So I'm hearing all this, And it's reminding me of a video I saw on the internet years ago. And viewer discretion advised, dear listener, if you're going to follow this up and have a look at it. But it's a sort of mock health and safety video following...
Imagine using that as a health and safety video.
It's following this chap that's driving a forklift. And it's one of those where every single turn, move, whatever he makes, somebody gets maimed or injured.
Yeah.
And it's cartoonish. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
It sounds exactly like that sort of video. If you've not checked it out, dear listener, I'll put a link in the description for the show. I will advise there is a bit of blood everywhere, but it is very much more comedic than, horror or something like that. That's what I'm thinking in my head when I'm hearing about your thing.
What I want to know is, how did the guy survive that got a massive fork and must have been about a foot of it out his back? It was completely through him. No. Now,
this is the whole thing of if you've missed everything that's vital, you can get away with it. It's not guaranteed, but you'll get away with it. That's probably what they were going with. Oh, no, I just happened to miss all the vital.
And they're sawing it off, aren't they? Because they had to get him to hospital because no ambulance could get through with all the trees down. So they're like getting this hacksaw and sawing off the spike out of his body and then lifting him in. I shouldn't laugh, but it's bordering on casualty there. Yeah.
You just need the preamble.
Actually,
You just need the preamble where somebody's doing some DIY on a rickety ladder and you've got a casualty episode. It's sorted.
I can't watch anymore. It's too much.
I'll admit it, dear listener, we have been getting into the festive spirit early. I mean, there's lots of mince pies to judge, and doing it at a rate of one a week, there's not that many weeks left, is there?
No.
But at what point are we far enough away from Halloween and close enough to Christmas that you can put the decorations up? And there is 2 reasons I'm asking this. One, our neighbours had their tree up on the 1st of November.
Yeah, they did.
Literally just ripped the Halloween decorations up and up went the tree, bang, done. They're in Christmas mode. And secondly, is across the table from me, dear listener. Why would we need to think about getting decorations up this early? I want to hear it.
Well, I've brought a reindeer this year. I brought a reindeer that I've always wanted every year. But this year I've bit the bullet and I got one of those reindeers that lights up the LEDs. It's going to be sitting on the front garden. I can't wait. Brought some nice lights, fairy lights, to go up round the front. And I just think, it's been a bit of a rubbish year. Let's have a bit of sparkle. Let's have a bit of feel good. So I just think, get your decorations up. If they make you feel good, get all the goodies in as well. And then why not?
So in your opinion, we're close enough to Christmas now. That's what you're saying.
I feel like we are, yes.
I want to know what you think, dear listener. Personally, I've got a different point of view. We need a period of mourning at the loss of bounty bars and celebrations. So we need to go through that
I don't
first.
like bounty bars.
And until we've had a chance to come to terms with, only joking, even I don't like it. This is going to sound like a completely bizarre and out there question, because it is. But have you ever stepped out your front door in the twilight and seen this weird flicker of darkness in the corner of your eye?
No.
Would you know what it was if you did?
No.
So you've never seen bats before?
Oh, I have, yes. Yeah, we have a bat in the back garden sometimes.
Yeah, you just see this flicker. You don't see the bats themselves.
No, you don't.
The other one that surprised me with their speed is hedgehogs.
Oh, yeah.
Considering they're in road safety ads and gets associated with getting squished as well.
Yeah.
How did he move so quickly?
I know.
I'm lost to that one. But anyway, bats. The reason I bring up is today I come leading with cutting-edge bat research.
Ooh.
Right? From 2020. But we can blame COVID for the delay, as everyone else is doing. And it turns out bats, right, they have different, and they call it song cultures and chatter.
Yeah.
So it's like different tones of voice or different ways of singing for food, sleep, sex, and other bats.
Really?
Yeah, which is probably a good thing. Fancy a quick bite to eat would get weird if it was in the wrong song. It's nice to have the context set properly, isn't it? And with this being a family show, dear listener, I'm not going to go any deeper into that joke. You can make your own edition up in your own home. But do you think this idea could work for humans? Like, fancy getting a burger? Very high pitched when you're talking about food. Or did you hear what Janet from accounting got up to last night at the work do? When you're talking about other people. And be able to tell, based on the tone of voice, what you're on about. Make things very clear, wouldn't it? You're less than likely to misinterpret things.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I quite like that. I might be able to save me from trying to listen in too harshly to what's going on, what the mood is of the conversation. If I can recognise somebody's tone of voice, I'll know whether it's worth moving in further and pretending I'm making a cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly. You're into it. And on that note, I'm off to write a research proposal and get some funding while you, dear listener, contemplate the complexity of batch society. Because we're all learning about that one, isn't it? It's blown my mind. I just thought it was Batman and fruit bats. That was it. So it turns out I made a mistake, dear listener. I went on the internet the other day, if I can get it out in English, and it made me homesick.
Oh.
What do you think I came across a picture of that would make me homesick?
A tablet or fried pizza or the Fourth Bridge.
So you're on about food, aren't you? When you said tablet, I was thinking like drugs, though. It was like, what's she on about? No, you're talking about the food, aren't you?
Yeah.
Scottish tablet. For people who have never heard of it, how would you describe it, Jenny?
It's toothache in a wrapper. You haven't even got toothache, but when you look at it, you feel like you've got toothache.
Seriously, the ingredients are basically butter, sugar. You don't need anything else. No. That's all you need in life. It'll make you happy. And it got me thinking, what are the things you've not seen in a very long time? Is there anything that pops into your mind that you've not seen for a long, long time?
Some of these old-fashioned sweets that you used to be able to get, like blackjacks and fruit salads, I used to like them.
Oh, right, yeah. So you're talking about the sort of thing you get from an old-fashioned sweet shop.
Yeah,
the sort you had to ask for half a pound of whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
And it's also where I found out my friend was practically addicted to clove rock.
Oh, I didn't like that.
Yeah, if you've never heard of it before, it's just basically clove oil in solidified form. I guess it's one way to deal with the damage that the rest of the shop did to you. The toothache it would do. So on that note, I want to open this up to you, dear listener. We've been talking about sweet shops. We've been talking about Scottish tablet. What is one thing that you've just not seen in a very, very long time?
Yeah, can you still get Lincoln biscuits? If anybody out there knows, I'd be quite interested. Because I remember as a kid, my dad used to love Lincoln biscuits.
Lincoln biscuits?
They were called Lincoln biscuits. I'm sure the wrapper was green.
I have no idea what you're on about. I assume it's a local thing.
Oh, I don't know.
But yes, we're opening this up to you, dear listener. What is something that you've just not heard about or of for a very, very long time? You've just not seen it. The ways to get in touch, at Solid Radio UK and at Solid Sooty, depending whether you want to talk to us or the cat on the social medias. Or if you are listening on Spotify, a question will have popped up somewhere in the app and you can tap on it and you can put your response into there as well. And we'll share the best ones in a future episode.
Before we go, Mark, I just want to ask one question, and it's because we've been talking about Christmas on this show.
Mainly because we enjoyed the food.
Well, maybe
and they've suddenly appeared in all the shops now. So
yeah,
it's an excuse. Yes, continue.
It is. So every Christmas I see them. I never buy them, but every Christmas I see them, and I thought to myself, nuts, Christmas nuts. Why are they a thing?
Well, I can sort of see chestnuts because they were roasted and they're talked about in American Christmas songs.
Well,
and
like
things
walnuts and things. Do people actually buy them? I know you can get those really spooky looking nutcrackers, can't you? That we had a bit of a play with today, if I'm honest, didn't we?
I guess it's a bit like the traditional thing of getting something like an orange in your stocking or something like that.
If I got nuts, I'd be mortified.
I think it's more a tradition thing because in the past, these fruits, that you wouldn't necessarily be able to grow and obtain in the UK, but they became available this time of year. It was a very big treat, a bit like bananas where if you go far enough back, it's this thing where it would have been unusual, special and rare to get these sort of things. You wouldn't have eaten them from day to day. But nowadays, because we can get them all the time, they don't feel as special.
They've just put them in a red mesh bag for Christmas and call them Christmas nuts. And I think there's just like almonds and what's the big ones?
Chestnut.
Walnuts. Walnuts. And I'm like, I can't really see how they sit on my table of mince pies and mini pizzas and,
Well, I think
Pringles.
It's just, my impression is it's just a tradition thing. And it's, in times gone by, these were much rarer. It was a much bigger treat.
Yeah, it must be.
I'll admit, in years gone by, the only time I ever ate dates or figs was at Christmas.
Oh, they were the thing as well. I think they still are. I think you can still buy dates as well for Christmas on the Christmas food aisles. I'm interested if any of our listeners actually buy nuts for Christmas. I'm just wondering what the thought process is behind that.
you think nobody buys nuts at Christmas?
I'm not sure. I never see them in anybody's trolley or baskets. I just get walking past thinking, the nuts are out again.
unfortunately, that was a neat. Am I the only one that turns into one of the Ronnies when he trips over his own
You
words?
saw them mince pies with the alcohol in.
Are you saying I'm drunk on a
Marsh just
single?
had a pack of 6.
Are you saying I'm drunk on a single mince pie? That would be impressive. I will admit I'm maybe a bit tired, which, people then assume, oh, no, that means you've been drinking a bit, doesn't it? No, I am stone cold sober at the moment, dear listener. I'm just horrible at getting words out of my mouth. But you'd think after 20 years I would have nailed it, but there we go. That was a Wee Natter. I'm Mark Steele. She is Jenny Steele. And we want you to do one little thing for us. Okay, so you listen to this fine podcast, whether it's on the Solid Radio feed, where you get all the other fun stuff as well, including sort of desert island discs type thing that Lucy's doing at the moment.
Yes.
She did one recently with DJ Stocksy.
She did, yeah.
If he's one of your favourites, he has joined us in the post-Solid Radio world. He's in the podcast world, so you can get that. Or if you only listen to a Wee Natter and you get the show this way, whichever way you do it, we need you to tell everyone you come across in your life about this here podcast.
We do.
And ensure they subscribe, listen, and enjoy.
Yeah.
That will make the world a better place. Think of it as doing your kind deed for the world.
And then I don't mind eating all those mince pies then. If I think that hundreds of thousands of people are eating along with us.
So
it's great,
are you trying to pitch it as we're consuming far less calories by us trying the mince pies versus the number of people that have to do this across the country?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then consume all the mince pies. So you think you're helping the NHS doing this, do you?
No, I'm not saying anything like that.
Fair point. And on that note, this is a Solid Radio production, and we'll catch you again next time.
Bye.